Tom's birthday party. Next weekend is Tom's birthday. He decides to plan a party. He wants to have a party in his big garden. It will be a fantastic event. Tom makes a list to invite his close friends. He decides to mail a beautiful invitation to them. In the message, he writes, "I offer you a great time with music, food, and games." Emma reads the message. She is very excited and wants to accept it. She really wants to attend the party and be a guest there. She decides to reply immediately. Her response is short and sweet. "Yes, I will be there." However, James is very busy that weekend. He has to refuse the invitation. He calls Tom to apologize. To be polite, he needs to give an explanation and give a reason. He says, "I am sorry, but I have an excuse. I must study for my science exam." Tom understands him, and the party goes perfectly.
Lucy and Sarah, true friends. Lucy and Sarah are best friends. They always get on well with each other. They share similar interests and have things in common. For example, they both love reading books and playing tennis. Sometimes, they even have the same opinions about their favorite movies and music. Last week, Lucy had a very difficult tennis match at school. She was very nervous and started to feel alone before the game. However, Sarah didn't leave her. She was there to back her up and give advice to her. Sarah said, "You are a great player, don't worry. Just focus on the ball." This shows how much they care about each other. Their friendship is very special because there is a strong mutual trust between them. They always share secrets in their free time. Lucy knows she can always count on Sarah. When she has a problem, she can rely on her best friend without any hesitation. True friendship needs time and respect. They never fight, but if they have a small problem, they show great patience to solve it together. For them, loyalty is the most important thing in a friendship, because true friends stay together forever.
The school project. There is a new, big science project at school this month. The teacher wants the students to build a model of the solar system. A group of friends comes together to work on this exciting task. David is very outgoing and funny. He loves meeting new people, sharing his creative ideas, and he always tells jokes to make the group laugh when they are tired. However, his best friend Leo is quite different. Leo is very serious and solemn while studying. He doesn't talk much. He prefers to read the science books quietly and take careful notes for the team. They need a good group leader to organize all the work. Anna is perfect for this important role because she is highly self-disciplined. She plans everything step by step. She is never late for their after-school meetings, she is always punctual. Everyone in the class knows she is an honest, trustful, and reliable person. She always keeps her promises and she never tells lies to her friends. Sometimes, the project gets very difficult. For example, one day the paint spills on their model, but they don't panic. Anna always stays calm in stressful situations. When someone makes a big mistake, she doesn't get angry or shout. Instead, she is very understanding and patient. She is a truly supportive leader, so she always helps her friends fix the problem together. In this team, everyone is polite and respectful to each other. They listen carefully when someone speaks and they never say bad words. They share the work equally because they always want to be fair. Even Mark, who is usually a very laid-back, relaxed boy, changes his habits. He doesn't play video games, he works very hard for the team and paints all the planets beautifully. In the end, they finish the best project in the school. They succeed not only because they are smart, but because they are caring and loyal friends who never leave each other alone.
Different hobbies, best friends. Meet Tom and Lily. They are very good friends, but they have different hobbies. Tom is interested in watching television. Every evening, he sits on the sofa and turns on the TV. He likes watching the news to learn about the world. He also loves watching a quiz show because he tries to answer the questions correctly. Sometimes, he watches a documentary about wild animals in Africa. However, he can't stand the long commercials between his favorite programs. He never watches a soap opera because he thinks they are very boring. On Sunday evenings, he usually watches an exciting action movie with his family. Lily, on the other hand, is a real bookworm. She is fond of reading all kinds of books. She is keen on reading detective books because she loves solving difficult mysteries. She also enjoys reading science fiction and fantasy books to travel to imaginary worlds in her mind. Sometimes, she reads biographical books to learn about the real lives of famous people. She doesn't like romance novels, but she sometimes reads historical books for her history homework. When it comes to music, they also have very different tastes. Tom prefers energetic and loud music. He always listens to rock and heavy metal bands in his room. Lily wants to relax when she listens to music. She likes listening to calming classical music while she studies for her exams. She also listens to traditional folk songs and smooth jazz when she drinks her tea. Even though they like different things, they always respect each other and stay best friends.
The science fair surprise. One Saturday morning, Leo and Sam went to the city science fair. Leo was a bit of a snob. He only liked expensive things and always wore smart clothes to feel popular. Sam was different. He preferred casual clothes because they were comfortable. "It is easy to move in these," Sam said with a smile. The fair was amazing. They saw an awesome robot that could prepare healthy snacks in a fast way. The machine was very impressive. "This is fantastic!" Sam shouted. However, the robot was very loud, which made the noise level quite bad in that room. They moved to the educational zone. It was not boring at all, actually, it was very enjoyable. They saw a ridiculous machine that was designed to tie your shoelaces automatically. "That is so silly." Leo laughed. The fair was free to enter, and the snacks at the cafe were cheap. Everything felt new and exciting, not the same as their school lab. After the long walk, they found a relaxing area with soft music. They sat down and felt completely relaxed. "This was a good day," Leo said. They had so much fun. Even though they had different styles, they shared an amazing experience together.
More than just a game. Meet Leo. He is a typical teenager who lives in a big city. Like many young people, he loves to hang out with friends at the local park after school. However, unlike his classmates, Leo doesn't care about trendy clothes. He does not want to follow fashion at all. In his personal opinion, buying very expensive designer shoes or shirts is just a huge waste of money. He prefers comfortable and basic outfits. One Friday afternoon, his best buddy Mark came up with an exciting idea. Mark wanted to attend a massive sports event at the stadium. It was the final match of their country's national team. Mark is a passionate patriot. He loves his country deeply and never misses a national game. "You must come with me, Leo. I highly recommend watching this match live. It will be unforgettable," Mark said. Leo hesitated. "To be honest, I prefer doing individual sports like tennis," he replied. "In fact, I need to go to the sports hall and train for my tournament this weekend." "Come on. You know that team sports are much more thrilling to watch. The energy, the crowd." Mark started to argue playfully. "You should definitely choose to come with me. Look, I even bought a front row ticket for you as a gift." Leo finally agreed. When they arrived at the stadium, the atmosphere was breathtaking. Almost every single adult and child was cheering loudly. Leo had an amazing experience.
The master chef's busy day. It is the day of the big cooking competition. Tom wants to prepare a perfect meal. First, he decides to preheat the oven. Next, he starts to make the dough for his special pie. He takes some flour and water to mix them. He begins to knead it carefully. Then, he uses his hands to stretch the dough and flatten it on the table. He likes to shape it like a star and roll the edges. After that, Tom takes some fresh vegetables. Before he uses them, he must rinse them under the tap. He begins to peel the potatoes. He uses a sharp knife to cut the carrots, chop the onions, and dice the tomatoes. He also needs to slice some mushrooms and grate some delicious cheese. Second, he puts a pot of water on the stove to boil. He leaves the vegetables in it to cook. After they are soft, he will drain the hot water and mash the potatoes. For the soup, he needs to strain the tomato juice. He will heat a pan, melt some butter, and pour the juice in. He must stir the soup slowly and add salt to season it. In a small bowl, he decides to whisk 2 eggs. Now, it is time for the meat. He will roast a chicken, but he also wants to grill some steak and fry some sausages in a hot pan. He tries to place the meat on a plate and spread a tasty sauce over it. He will sprinkle some green herbs on top. Finally, Tom takes the pie. He needs to put the filling inside, cover it, and seal the edges. He decides to wrap it in foil to bake it perfectly. When the time is up, he will remove everything from the oven. The meal is ready. The magic of cooking. Leo is a young boy who loves reading about different types of world cuisine. Today, he wants to cook a very healthy and nutritious meal for his lovely family. He finds an amazing recipe in an old book. The preparation looks a bit difficult at first glance, but Leo knows that if he follows every step carefully, it will actually be quite easy. The first part of the cooking process is gathering all the correct ingredients. Leo plans to use fresh vegetable pieces and a little bit of fruit like a green apple for a slightly sour flavor. He takes a very sharp knife from the drawer to cut a thin slice of the apple. Then, he prepares the white meat in a separate glass bowl. He adds some chili powder to make it slightly spicy, but he is careful not to make the food too salty. Next, Leo decides to bake some homemade bread to accompany his delicious dish. He mixes flour and water together to form a soft dough. He kneads it on the table until the top surface becomes perfectly smooth. Then, he leaves it in a warm spot to rest. For the sauce, he cooks a tomato mixture in a small pan, waiting patiently for it to get thick. He also checks the temperature of the boiling water. Timing is key, every single minute and second matters. He serves the plates quickly before they get cold. Everyone agrees the food is incredibly tasty. Leo is very proud of his amazing dinner.
The Great Kitchen Surprise. Lily and Tom decided to prepare a surprise dinner for their parents. First, Tom opened the refrigerator to take out the fresh vegetables. He took a sharp knife to chop the carrots and onions. He put the vegetables into a deep pot to boil some delicious soup. He gently stirred the hot soup with a long wooden spoon. Next, it was time for the main dish. Tom heated the heavy iron pan on the stove to cook a tasty steak. He also turned on the electric grill to cook some chicken. He carefully flipped the hot meat using a long metal fork. Meanwhile, Lily prepared a delicious tomato sauce in a small saucepan. She also used a wide frying pan to cook some crispy potatoes. She took a block of cheese and used the metal grater to shred it all over the hot potatoes. Now, it was time for dessert. Lily wanted to bake a big chocolate cake and some sweet cookies. She put flour, sugar, and cocoa powder into a large glass bowl. She took a wire whisk to beat the eggs quickly. For the cookies, she rolled out the dough using a heavy wooden rolling pin. She carefully placed the shaped cookies onto a wide baking tray. For the cake, she poured the dark chocolate batter into a round cake tin. She put both the cookies and the cake into the hot oven to bake. While they waited, Lily put fresh fruit and milk into the electric blender to make a healthy fruit smoothie. Finally, the food was ready. They set the table and placed a clean porcelain plate for everyone. They used a large silver tray to carry the drinks from the kitchen. As a final touch, Lily added a small teaspoon next to the cups for the coffee. Leo's great communication project. In a busy city, a smart boy named Leo worked as an employee at a large call center. Unfortunately, Leo had bad phone habits. He used to play games and waste time on his smartphone constantly. Another day, his manager decided to have a meeting with the team. The company placed an ad online to hire a technology expert. They needed to change their slow computer system to save time and reach information faster. Leo wanted to prove himself. He wanted to discover a new method and start a digital revolution at work. He hated the old desk phones, because he didn't want to carry heavy cables or speak into a dusty mouthpiece. He thought he could invent a smart wireless earpiece to replace the old phones. He wanted to begin his special project as soon as possible, so he started to make arrangements to buy all the necessary electronic tools. Before finishing his work, Leo felt terribly ill. It was a bad winter illness, so he had to visit the city hospital. He needed to check his watch, because he had to have an appointment with the doctor at a particular time. While he was waiting in the hallway, he watched the doctor examine a patient carefully. The doctor finally told Leo to go home, rest in bed, and look after his health. Leo stayed home, but he didn't stop thinking. He didn't join a party with his friends that weekend. Instead, he worked hard on his computer. Surely, his great effort paid off. He finished his design and waited for the delivery of his final parts. When he returned to work to meet his team, they were totally amazed. Nobody had to shout across the room anymore. Leo finally decided to share his great invention, transforming the office entirely.
Alice's difficult phone call. Alice was working hard on her science project. She needed to ask her friend Bob a question. She picked up the phone to place a call to him and dialed his number. The phone started to ring. She waited for a long time, but no one picked up. Maybe Bob was out of the city, or just busy with his homework. Alice tried again. This time, the line was engaged. Alice was a bit frustrated. I should have known the line was busy, she thought. Later, she saw a new number on the phone screen. It seemed like another caller. She decided to pick up. But she heard a very strange noise. She could barely hear what they wanted to say. It seemed to be a bad line. The network connection was very weak, and the phone link kept breaking. The voice on the other end said, "Can you repeat your name?" But then the call cut off. Alice had to hang up. She left a short memo on a piece of paper. "Call Bob. Bad connection." She would use this note as a reminder to call him later. Finally, Alice tried one last time. A friendly voice answered. "Hello. This is Bob's house. Bob is not available right now, he is on another line." Alice asked, "Well, can I leave a message?" The other voice said, "Yes, I can take a message for you." Alice gave her question and asked Bob to get back to her as soon as possible. "Please speak to him when he's finished," she said. The other voice said, "Okay, I'll put you through to his extension number." Alice was a bit surprised by this, but it worked. She finally managed to speak with him for a short time. She was relieved, but she had to hang up to get back to work. A busy weekend for Leo. Leo was a very hard-working student who loved studying. He always liked to make a plan for his weekends to finish his long assignments and still have free time. This Saturday, he wanted to see his best friend, Mia. They decided to meet for a drink at their favorite local cafe downtown to relax. However, when Leo woke up on Saturday morning, he felt absolutely terrible. His head was aching badly, and he had a fever. He quickly realized he had to change a plan immediately. He grabbed his mobile phone to call Mia and inform her that he couldn't make it to the cafe anymore. "I feel really sick today," Leo said. "I need to call the clinic and ask for an appointment." "That is a very good idea," Mia replied. "You definitely need a doctor appointment soon." Leo called the city health center. The receptionist answered and asked him to tell a problem so she could direct him to the right medical department. After explaining his symptoms, he realized he also needed to get help from Mia with a school project. Next Monday, Leo was supposed to have an interview with a famous author for the school newspaper. Since he was very sick, he couldn't do it. "Mia, can you call the author and arrange a new date for our meeting?" he asked. "I won't be well by Monday." Mia happily agreed to handle it. Just as Leo was going to sleep, the clinic called back. "I am sorry, Leo," the receptionist said. "Our doctor had an emergency. We need to arrange a new appointment for you for tomorrow morning." Leo sighed. It was a stressful day, but he knew resting in his bed was the best choice. The digital trap. Leo was an internet addict. He used to spend too much time staring at his computer screen for hours. At first, he only saw the advantages of the digital world. He could play games and create new virtual cities. However, he quickly started to ignore his real friends and felt completely isolated. He would often lie to his parents about finishing his homework. His mother would always advise him to be careful. "You must take precautions on the web," she said. "If you meet strangers in chat rooms, they might give harm to you. The internet can easily become a dangerous place." But Leo didn't mind her warnings. His absolute preference was playing games instead of studying. He would forget to sleep and eat properly. Soon, the disadvantages of his lifestyle started to affect his health, and he began to feel sad. One evening, he clicked a flashing button on a strange website by mistake. This small action would cause a massive problem. It downloaded a virus, and his computer was suddenly broken. He tried to fix it, but it was useless. He read an article on his phone stating that such viruses were a hidden digital enemy. The text explained that severe cyber attacks could even lead to financial ruin and massive job losses for adults. The authorities always warned citizens to keep away from suspicious links. Leo realized a big change was inevitable. He couldn't go on living like a digital zombie. He had kept his deep gaming addiction a secret, but now he confessed to his family. Together, they sent the PC to a shop to prepare it for a system reset and to protect their home network. Leo promised to always remember this difficult lesson and be very careful next time. The digital adventure of Leo. Leo was almost an internet addict. He loved exploring different ways of communication. One afternoon, he decided to start up his new laptop. He carefully plugged in the power cable and decided to press the power button. The bright screen lit up. To go online, he needed to start the connection to his home Wi-Fi network. Once he managed to safely connect, he opened his web browser. He used a search engine to find a new messaging application. He had to sign up and register to create a new account. He chose a unique username, picked a strong password, and added a funny nickname. Finally, he had to confirm his details to log in. Leo joined an active chat group on a popular social networking site. He saw a nice post from his friend Mia and decided to leave a comment. On the reply screen, he typed his comment quickly with a smiling emoji. Suddenly, Mia messaged him. "Leo, can you please send an email with our science project file?" "Sure," he replied. First, he had to download the document from his old desktop computer. He wanted to store it safely, so he chose to upload it to his cloud drive and add it as an attachment. While he was working, a weird pop-up appeared. Leo remembered his teacher's rules about good internet habits and avoiding harmful sites. He decided to delete the suspicious message and run a virus program to be absolutely safe. Before dinner, he had to reset his modem because the speed dropped. He used his sleek smartphone to check one last message. Then, he knew it was time to log off and log out completely. The digital world of Leo. Every morning, Leo wakes up, grabs his tablet, and starts his day. The first thing he does is check emails to see if his teachers sent any updates. Then, he likes to learn about world events on news websites to get information before his classes begin. During the afternoon, Leo works on his geography project. He has to search for information about different countries. Instead of carrying heavy books, he prefers to read ebooks and do research online. This is his favorite way to learn about new cultures. When his homework is finally done, it is time to relax and socialize. For Leo, communication is a very important part of his daily routine. He uses his smartphone to contact his classmates. He often sends quick text messages or uses IM because it is much faster than calling. Usually, they join group conversations to plan their weekend activities or simply to talk to friends about their favorite computer games. The internet really helps Leo to connect with others. Sometimes, he likes to visit chat rooms designed for students who are learning English. It is a fantastic opportunity to meet new people from all over the globe and make new friends. By engaging with international students regularly, he can easily develop social skills. Leo is also very creative. He loves taking photos, so he decided to write on a blog. On his personal webpage, he can share contents like his nature pictures and travel stories. Because of the digital world, even on a rainy day at home alone, Leo can feel less isolated. He knows he can always communicate freely and keep in touch with his loved ones.